don't think I know videos important. I would so much rather create like a cool little video and send that out than like type up some point, you know?
Yeah. I'm coming.
When I was born in Colombia,
I'm coming, dude.
I remember everything about
Lord, I hope this stays good. I'm feeling empty and misunderstood. I should be thankful, Lord, I know I should. But Lord, I hope this stays good. Lord, have you forgotten me? I've been praying to you faithfully. I'm not saying I'm a righteous man, but Lord, I hope you understand. I don't need fortune and I don't need fame. Send down the thunder, Lord, send down the rain. But when you're planning just how it will be, plan a good day for me. Lord, I hope this day is good. I'm feeling empty and misunderstood. I should be thankful, Lord, I know I should. But Lord, I hope this day is good. You've been the king since the dawn of time. All that I'm asking is a little less crime. It might be hard for the devil to do, but it would be easy for you. Lord, I hope this day is through. I'm feeling empty and misunderstood. I should be thankful, Lord, I know I should. But Lord, I hope this day is good. When I was a kid, Uncle Remus, he put me to bed with a picture of Stonewall Jackson above my bed. Then Daddy came in, kissed his little man, with gin on his breath, a Bible in his hand. He talked about honor and things I should know. They staggered a little as he went out the door. I can still hear the soft southern winds in the live oak tree. And those Williams boys, they still mean a lot to me. Hank in Tennessee, I guess we're all gonna be what we're gonna be. So what do you do with good old boys like me? Nothing You ain't afraid if you're washed in the blood like I was. Smell like Cape jasmine through the window sleep. John R. and the Wolfman kept me company. By the light of the radio by my bed, with Thomas whispering in my head. I can still hear the soft southern wind in the live oak tree. And those Williams boys, they still mean a lot to me. And in Tennessee, I guess we're all gonna be what we're gonna be. So what do you do with good old boys like me? When I was in school, I ran with a kid down the street. But I watched him burn himself up on Bourbon Street. But I was smarter than most, and I could choose. Learned to talk like a man on the 6 o'clock news. When I was 18, Lord, I could go. But it really doesn't matter how far I go. I can still hear the soft southern winds in the live oak tree. And those Williams boys, they still mean a lot to me. And in Tennessee, I guess we're all gonna be what we're gonna be. So what do you do with good old boys like me? Yeah, what do you do with good old boys like me? Oh, my kangaroo, you brought love like I never known. You gave life to our children and to me a reason to go on. You're my bread when I'm hungry. You're my shelter from trouble. You're my anchor in life's ocean. But most of all, you're my best friend. When I need hope and inspiration, you're always strong. When I'm tired and weak, I could search this whole world over. You'd still be everything that I need. You're my bread when I'm hungry. You're my shelter from trouble with. You're my anchor in life's ocean. But most of all, you're my best friend. Till the river's all dry till the sun falls from the sky, till life on earth is through. I'll be needing you. I know sometimes you may wonder from little things I say and do. There's no need for you to wonder if I need, 'cause I'll need you till the rivers all run dry, till the sun falls from the sky, till life on earth is through. I'll be needing you. Too many times I don't count. Too many things get in the way. And even though sometimes I hurt you, still you show me in every way till the rivers all run dry, till the sun falls from the sky, till life on earth is through. I'll be needing you. Start this day like all the rest. First thing every morning that I do now is start this day. Some broken hearts never mend. Some memories never end. Some tears will never dry. My love for you will never die. A willing woman to hold me tight, but in the middle of the love's embrace, I see your face. Some broken hearts never mend. Some memories never end. Some tears will never dry. My love for you will never die. my song, my favorite tune. You're my sunset on the ocean. I miss you now. So much of you is now over me. I know a greater power must have noticed me and decided I would need someone like you. No one on this planet thought we could ever be till he gave my heart to you and yours to me. You've given us such a recipe for you, undying love comes naturally. Our love is somehow different than I could be, and it's working on my heart uneasily. So I know a greater power I would need someone like you. No one on this planet thought we could ever be till he gave my heart to you.
Hello. Oh, okay. Hello, Sanko. You said? Okay, yeah, it started. Now some people are just joining now, so you can just come on board. We'll just give them additional like 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Then we'll just get started. All right. Hello, good evening, everyone. I can see Albert, Sanko. I can see Moji. You're welcome.
Thank you, Sunday. Good evening.
Good evening. You're very much welcome. We'll just give the house some few minutes, say 3 to 5 minutes. Then we will just get started. How was our weekend?
Not bad. Still on it.
Moji will talk. I heard the good news.
Sonny, sorry, my attention is a bit distracted, but as you said, we'll talk. Maybe after the meeting, we'll talk or answer.
Okay, you said?
I was saying my attention is a bit divided, but I heard you. You said we'll talk. Hello? 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 Ah, Sunday, I can't hear you.
Oh. We'll just wait for some few more minutes. Normally by this time there. Can anyone hear me? Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Sanko. Yeah, Sanko. Apologies for the late notice. Okay. Somebody is joining now.
All right, boss.
Oh. Oh, John Bosco, you're very much welcome. Okay. Thank you. In 3 minutes, we'll just get started. Normally, we should be more than this. Let me see if I can reach out to. There's somebody in Rwanda. Elvis. You know that one of the guys that joined today, when he saw the topic, he was like that this is exactly what he needed this period. That he was already looking at how to go into mobile development using Flutter and that this is really
Okay.
timely. We've had a session on this. That was like almost 2 months ago on Flutter, and she introduced us to it. But so many people have joined afterwards, so it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to. I think it would be good if we can even have a structured program around it, maybe once a month, so that in case for people who might be interested in not just having the overview, although with the overview one can go read up and be strong on it, but some people might want to like have 2-3 sessions and so as to get a good grasp so they can go studying it on their own. But how long have you been? Oh, I think we should get started. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah. Okay, some people are just okay. Somebody's just joining. So it's another opportunity for us to come together to learn, share, and grow, which is basically the slogan around this group: to learn, share, and grow. Last week we had it was all about the business aspect of IT. We had 2 weeks ago, we had a tech entrepreneur who introduced us to the business part of it. We had conversations around it. And last week it was a recap of what we did 2 weeks ago, which was still around tech entrepreneurship. So today we are very fortunate to have someone who is who has been in the industry for some years. I recently got to know him, and sincerely, I was amazed at what he's been doing as a self-employed, as a company owner. He's a business owner, and he's been doing greatly. So I reached out to him for us. It was late. The notice was late though, but thank God, and he was able to accept the request to introduce us to mobile development using Flutter. So I open up the floor to Sanko. He's based in Sierra Leone. Sanko, you're very much welcome. The floor is yours, sir. Thank you for accepting this offer. The floor is yours. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sonny. The pleasure is all mine. And two things, I was moved by the topic. Despite the short notice, I think I got compelled by the fact that you guys could come up with such ideas where we would actually meet, learn, and eventually go in the sphere of technology. As we all know, technology is evolving and it's moving very fast. You learn something today, and 2 years down the line, it's already obsolete. You get.
Yeah.
3 years ago, 4 years ago, there was no Flutter. Mobile app development was so difficult. It was as if it was for people who were geniuses. But as we know, these big companies, Google, Microsoft, and other companies, they try to come up with easier ways of doing things all the time. And these ways they come up with are to help us as developers to reach our goals. And the reason why I came up with Flutter as a topic the moment you spoke to me was because it was something I can actually spin something up on within the time frame that was given. Okay, so permit me to start my presentation, and at the end of the presentation, I actually share a slide with you guys. Okay?
All right, sir. Yeah, that's
moving
fine.
to development with Flutter. First, people want to know what Flutter is, and I know most people already know, but for those who do not know, Flutter is actually an open source mobile user interface framework that was created by Google and released sometime in 2007, I think May. Okay, it allows us to create native mobile applications with only one code base. One code base means you do not have to develop two different applications in two different languages, like using Java for Android and then using Swing for Swift for iOS. We use Dart. Flutter has its own language called Dart, which is being used to develop an application for both iOS and Android. Okay, it consists of two important parts. I don't know if you guys are with me. If I'm too fast, please let me know. Okay. Flutter has an SDK. We all know what SDKs are, software development kits, which is a collection of tools that are going to help we or us, the developers. This includes tools to compile your code into a native machine code for both iOS obviously for Apple products, and Android for normal Android applications. And then a framework filled with user interface libraries based on widgets, which are a collection of usable elements such as buttons, text, input, sliders, and so on. I actually started using Flutter in 2018 when I compared it to Xamarin because I started developing with .NET C#. Okay, so I wanted to develop a mobile app, and I wanted to use a really easy technology that I'd have enough support for all the time. So Xamarin is very good, but then it's not open. Very easy and very interesting. Okay, probably you'd want to ask yourself, why would you want to learn Flutter? First and foremost, Flutter is very simple and easy to use. It is a modern framework, and you can feel it. It is way simpler to create mobile applications, way simpler. If you have used Java, Swift, or React Native before, then you notice that Flutter is really different and really easy to use. I would personally recommend Flutter to anybody who is about to start developing mobile applications and would want to develop for both iOS and Android and maintain the same code base. So when you're going to make changes, you make changes on one code base, and then it affects both platforms. Okay, and you're actually creating real native applications. Real native applications. You do not need to write thousands and thousands of lines of code. Just few lines of code, and there you are. And then also it has quick compilation. Flutter has hot reload. Okay, you'd make changes whilst you're developing, and then you hot reload, and then the changes are reflected. No need to stop the application when it's running. Okay, you change your code in real time, and then the effect takes place because you make modifications all the time, and you may want to test as you go along. Are we together? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we're with you.
Okay. If I'm a bit fast, please let me know. Okay. Flutter is also ideal for startup because I actually started my own company in 2018. Is it 2018? 2019 January, I guess. So as a startup, you know, with open source technologies, you do not need to invest too much in architecture and softwares. all you need to is to invest in your time, read a lot, and practice a lot. And the good thing is, if you've had experience in developing in other languages, then switching to Flutter is actually very easy. If for instance, you actually want to do a proof of concept demo for a client within the shortest possible time, say 1 week, 2 days, 3 days, I'd advise you go with Flutter. Okay, it is very cheap if you are a developer and you want to go with Flutter. So it's cheaper to develop with a mobile application with Flutter because you don't need to create and maintain 2 mobile apps. You don't have to bother yourself creating the Android version first, and then after killing yourself with that, you now move to an iOS language, say Swift, and try to create the iOS version. No, all you need is your Flutter and your that language, and both applications have been created. Flutter is beautiful. You can easily use widgets provided by Flutter and personalize them to create a valuable user interface for your customers. You go to the Flutter website, you see tons and tons of examples. Wow. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay. Sadly, I don't know. Let me switch to my phone. I think my PC is acting up. Wow. No, I'm not done yet, please. Anyways, meanwhile, do we have questions while I try to sort out my PC?
Yes,
hold on.
I
I can join with my phone, please. Hold on, just
okay.
give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
Sorry, let's just exercise some patience. His sister, he wants to use another device. For those who are joining us for the first time, he will be coming back again. He just left. This is the second session we're having on Flutter development. For those who are okay. Thanks. Okay. I'm coming. I'll need to add him back or have him join back. He wants to use his device, his other device. So this is the second session we're having on Flutter. Like 2 months ago, I think our second or third edition or episode, one of us handled Flutter development. That was Kehinde. Then we're still very few. So when Sanko talked about introducing us to Flutter, I thought it necessary because some people had already engaged me for that session to be repeated. So this is an opportunity for us to have an overview once again, especially for people who are joining us for the first time. Let me see if I can get him on board. Okay, he's back. Okay. Yeah. You are in now. Hello, Sanko. Hello, Sanko.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you are mute. Okay? Good. Go ahead, sir.
Am I? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. Someone wanted to ask a question.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question. I saw one article somebody put up some months back. I think he's a Microsoft. He's one of the Microsoft developers. He used Flutter. He developed a Flutter app using C#. So I think it was a hack. He found a way around it and was able to come up with Flutter a Flutter app using C#. So would it be how? Because there's something for me. If I observe that maybe the technology that I'm strong at can handle a scenario or an application I need to work on, I'll prefer using that approach. So is it recommended for how comparing C# and that, which is the programming language for Flutter, how different are they? Are they basically the same thing, just little syntaxes? Can you sort of like talk a little bit on Flutter using C# and maybe Flutter using any other language, programming language?
Oh, okay. That's an issue. The thing is, I as I told you earlier, actually, I started developing with .NET.
Okay.
And the biggest issue with .NET is that besides the Visual Studio ID, I'm not sure you'd get one .NET application that is actually open source. Okay? As much as C# is very easy to use among object-oriented programming languages, in my opinion and from my experience, for developing mobile applications, for developing web applications, enterprise Windows applications, I can always go with C#. But for developing mobile applications, especially cross-platform applications for iOS and Android, in my opinion, I would go with that. First, because it is very, very, very easy, easy to understand, and very, very straightforward, especially if you're coming from an object-oriented programming background. And then, even if you're moving to it for the very first time, there isn't much for you to learn. The documentation is out there at your disposal. Everything you need to know is there for you. The community is open. It is open source. There are tons of blogs out there on Flutter. Unlike C# and Xamarin, if you're using Xamarin to develop mobile applications, I am quite sure that you may have to, probably, I have never tried it before, but I'm quite sure you may have to pay for support from Microsoft, which is a really big difference for a startup. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay, sorry, Sandy, sorry. Let me just contribute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in respect of probably what you saw online, I think I've seen something close to that online. But then I feel what they are referring to is where they get the that language from, because actually that was formulated from both C language, Java, and JavaScript. So it was actually a combination of all this language that they got the syntax from. So the place that I saw something close to this you're saying online was talking about the syntaxes they collected from C# part. You get, so I feel that's what the person might probably be referring to. But then you can't compare when it comes to mobile in terms of decision making whether to use C# because you can't use C# code direct without it have to be that. But the syntax, you can use C# syntax, the ones that they picked, but then the language has to be that. I don't know if that also helped too.
Yes, I think I'm clear on that. The guy, I think I'll look for that article. He demoed the platform, the mobile app he did using Flutter, but underlining language using C#. So he sort of like talked about
I think I've seen it. I think I've seen it too. But then the language C# syntax, yes. But you know that picks from C# too. Picks some syntax from C#. So it's probably those syntax that is presenting. Yes.
Okay. I get it. I think I'm fine.
Okay. So then moving to the next reason why you actually want to use Flutter. Flutter is really, really well documented. The thing is, honestly, if you're thinking of switching over to mobile app development, in my opinion, I would highly recommend using Flutter. I didn't spend much time in actually learning Flutter. I spent like 4 years in university learning .NET technologies, and I spent less than 3 months switching over to Flutter, and I found it very, very comfortable. And since that time to now, I have developed more than 10 actually real-life applications which are being used using Flutter, and I didn't actually break sweats doing those because the widgets are out there for you, and then it is free, my brother. You do not have to pay for anything. There are other people who have done things you want to do. You just check out their communities. I have a list of communities. Flutter, awesome Flutter. It's all widgets, Flutter community. These are people who would actually give you ideas on things you want to do that you can't figure out using Flutter. So as I said, given the fact that actually the notice was really short, I couldn't actually come up with too much on this. So I think this has to be the end of my presentations, and then I'll actually see if you guys could come up with questions. And then a disclaimer though, you know, Flutter belongs to Google. I'm a developer who loves using Flutter, so I can only share my experience and what I think about it, okay? I can never vouch for it as in it is what you need to use. Everybody has what he's actually good at, and then like in any development, any language can achieve any goal, right? Personal preference would decide what you want to use and why you want to use it. So Sonny, the floor is over to you.
Okay. So thank you so much, Sanko. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Very welcome.
Despite the short notice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So do we have questions? Do we have questions on what has been the introduction?
I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead, please.
Okay, so I've been on Node, JavaScript, and Laravel before, and in my opinion, devices are getting smaller, technology is evolving, and I feel Google is having a bigger strategy with Flutter, but I'd like to ask, where do you think Flutter is going in the tail end? Because I feel, okay, since do you think it will be able to do stuff like AI? Do you think it will be able to do? Okay, I saw a line on the Flutter website that mentioned backend development, but I'm not sure that is ready yet, and I'm not sure the web front end is still ready yet. That's for Flutter. So what's your opinion, or what would you say about that, Samko?
And yes, I actually, honestly, the thing is, for me, for different technologies, I actually use different languages. For Flutter, I can't vouch for them for moving to AI. Although Google, I can vouch for Google for bringing up something in future for AI. You get, but as it is, for the time being, what is available is what I would use. Because as I said, technology is evolving. It's evolving so fast that probably in the next 3 years, I wouldn't be even considering Flutter anymore. They might have come up with a different technology that can solve all my problems. So I can't really rely on it, and I can't vouch for it for the future.
Okay, but where do you see the language going? That's what I'm really concerned about because
No. I see
like
it embracing mobile
JavaScript.
technology. I honestly see it embracing mobile technology. And in few years down the line, I am quite sure that probably the larger portion of the mobile app developers will be going for Flutter.
Okay, why I'm saying this is because I've observed that JavaScript is trying to push very many frontiers. I think JavaScript is going for desktop applications now, doing mobile, doing web.
Right now, yeah.
I read an article that suggested that JavaScript could be used for AI. So I believe if Google is making has built a language that incorporates C#, Java, JavaScript, and principles from all those languages, the play might be bigger than just mobile apps. I don't know. That's what I'm
actually
thinking.
Flutter itself is not a language. It is just
I mean that. Sorry.
You understand? That is the
I should
language.
have said that. Yeah.
And I think moving to complex programming with AI and simplicity, I think Google has Golang, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So that is primarily for the mobile app development, and then it's cross-platform. How would I put it? Functionality. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw a notification. I wanted to be sure. But for complex programming and probably AI, I think they have Golang as a language. Flutter is just a framework. They have that for Flutter, which is for cross-platform development. And I have a feeling, I can't vouch for it, but I have a feeling that they're thinking what you are thinking, and they might actually make provision for it in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, sorry, let me add something, because this particular topic that he asks now always, but these guys, we are talking about Google. When you talk of AI in the world, you can't count like 5 companies without counting Google. They already have Golang going on. So I don't think it will take much for them to bring it into that.
Exactly.
Personally, I feel they will always have a plan for it. It just might take a little bit while, but see. Then there is something I actually wanted us to talk about because I've been doing Flutter for a while, but then remember when I was starting on, the major challenge that I have then is this: you can't do iOS app because you have
a Windows PC.
Okay, so it's actually a big challenge, because what's the need of doing all platform app and you can't test iOS again? So it's a bit discouraging when it comes to that. Because not everybody can afford a Mac.
That's the con.
So it now boils down to, if you are willing to take the hits, so you stick to only Android and you keep battering with it until you will be able to borrow a Mac or buy. So it's actually an issue.
There's a workaround. There's a workaround actually.
Yes, there's a workaround. How many is free?
How
many is free?
You can get a virtual box, right, and have your.
You can get what?
Virtual box, a virtual machine, and have your Mac OS running on it.
Okay.
Yeah, but then how many people can afford it? That's what I'm saying.
Well, what I'm saying is you can afford the Windows PC, right? You just get a
Yeah.
virtual box now and then have your iOS running on it. Same thing we do, those of us who have Mac. We actually run VirtualBox and run Windows OS on it for Windows only applications.
Okay.
You always have to find a way to just work your way around to get what you want. It is really not easy, especially for iOS. Yeah, there's no way you'd actually use your Windows PC and test your iOS application, even if you're using Flutter. It's not possible. That's a con. I hope they fix it someday.
But Apple won't
Well,
agree.
that's not Flutter's problem. Yeah, that's not Google's problem.
Yes.
It's Apple's, so you can't blame them for it. So it's as simple as that. You want to develop an iOS application, please have a MacBook.
Okay, but the hack you spoke about using VirtualBox, would it be which of the what do you call it? Which of the virtual devices would you be running? Genymotion, which one?
No, it depends. It depends.
I also want to know so that if I'm searching, I would know what to search for.
No, see, they have virtual devices. It depends on the version that you want. I don't know if I can just pin mine up and see what I have available here. It actually depends on what you want.
Okay.
That's what it depends. I'm not sure there's a hard and fast rule about it. So it's personal preference. Because if you develop for higher versions, right, then the lower versions will work on it. But if you develop for lower versions, then I'm not sure the higher versions would work. Okay. So I think best practice would ask that we develop on higher versions. If it's Android, use probably the latest version of Android. The latest stable version, I would advise, latest stable version. Say if it's iOS, use the latest stable version and do your simulations.
Okay.
So that's it from my end.
Okay, are there more questions?
My first
so the floor is open. Okay, somebody wants to ask.
Yeah, this is Dari. I have a question. Thanks for the lecture.
Oh, you.
Okay. Yes. So so I don't know if I saw an article recently. I think it was shared on a platform which some of us here are. I think it's an article on Adobe XD and Flutter. How you can basically do some. Sorry.
Comparing them?
No, not comparing them. Obviously, it's like comparing oranges and apples now. So they are not the same thing. But I kind of saw something where you're able to do your UI on Adobe XD, and then it kind of generate like a basic Flutter application for you. I don't know if you've maybe tried that out. But I think that when I saw that article, it kind of motivated me a bit towards trying out Flutter, because I just felt like if you can just, so I have an idea now that I want quickly prototype. I just do it on it just gives me some basic Flutter application. So what my question is I don't know if you've tried it out. So if you've tried it out, I don't know if what is being generated for you, or whatever is being built for you as the basic Flutter app is loosely coupled in such a way that, you can easily build anything you want to build on it. So it's not just, I don't know if you understand my question. And that's even if you've tried that feature out. And I think it also depends on how Flutter itself is designed in terms of the how do I say it, the design of Flutter. So you've seen languages where I think I've tried out Python or Django where there is a model view controller and there is a design. You know, the design of the system basically
Design
determines how
pattern.
loosely coupled it is,
Yeah.
such that you can easily, it's flexible enough to build anything you want to build. So that's just it. I don't know.
I'm not sure I've even heard of the Adobe you spoke of. You spoke of Adobe something, right?
Is
Adobe
SD Adobe. SD Adobe.
No, I haven't used it.
Yeah, okay, so I think
my favorite IDE is actually
actually,
Visual Studio Code.
Oh, okay, but back to like another what I also want to understand, like what is the is Flutter a how do I say it? Is it an opinionated language in such a way that there's a structure you have to follow? Like, for example, like I said in Django, you have the the concept of a project,
MVC.
then you have applications inside. In each applications, you have a URLs file, you have a model, you have a view. I mean, everything is, is set in stone.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, okay. So I think Flutter is actually pretty easy. If you have done React before, the use of components, it's just simple widget. That's it. Once you understand each widget you are using, it's easier. The Adobe S, what the Adobe S will generate for you is not pretty. Even Flutter itself is easier to use than modifying what you generate from Adobe EDS and putting it back to the. So I feel the person learning the Flutter itself is a bit easier than using it,
Than
because
going to do Adobe X, then you now have to modify your code.
Modify, because what you will get currently now is not neat. You can take the samples on YouTube, lots on it, but it's not neat. Not neat like what you will get on that, because you are developing different streams. So you need to consider those streams, not just the one that you generated. Because if you are generating it from SD, you are generating for one particular stream. So why you need to modify it is to make sure that you pattern for all the different streams you are going to test the app on.
But Chijioke, okay, I understand your standpoint, too. But you know when it also comes to mobile development, usually you would also do a lot of UI, right?
Yes.
You would do a lot of UI. So I mean, I don't know, at least from little experience I have, you do a lot of UI. Then you do some integration on the back end. Maybe you want to call some APIs, you want to do some logic and all.
Yes.
So I still feel like, I don't know, but I'm still thinking maybe we can still have someone to clarify it. I still feel like if Adobe XD is able to take a lot of the pain of doing UI for you, I mean, so you want to do sign-up pages, you want to do login pages, you quickly do the design on Adobe XD, because obviously I know Adobe XD will be easy. If you know Adobe XD, it will be easy to do because you're basically doing some drawings and drag and drop. So if Adobe XD is able to take a lot of the pain of the UI design, you are getting that Flutter app and you are just basically integrating into maybe some APIs or doing some logic, your business logic or something. So that's just what I'm thinking. I don't know. It's still up for debate if anyone has any.
I agree with you, Dari, but then you need to understand they just started it this year. So there is room for improvement. They are going to improve. So it means later on, they will bring out something that is far, far better than what they have today. But then for now, instead of doing that and editing it in future, I will prefer to do it myself. That's for now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Oh, please go ahead, Eloka.
Hello, my name is Eloka.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do Android application, and I've done a little bit of iOS development. So my question is I was really considering using Flutter recently, but I was always thinking, because sometimes they talk about hybrid applications not having performance issue. So the first question is, have you noticed any drawbacks, like in terms of functionality or performance? And also, how easy is it to deploy one code and then transform it to an iOS and Android app. Take for example, I have a Windows laptop and I build the entire app. Can I borrow someone's MacBook and then fix the whole thing for iOS today? Is it that smooth? Is it that fast? If, like, for example, if it's working on Android, are you 100% sure that when you put it to iOS, it would work?
Yes,
I think
I'm 100 certain that if it works on Android, it will work on iOS. The only thing is there will be design changes in
okay.
UI elements.
Or do you have to change the
So,
UI? I have to use
yeah,
one UI.
yeah. There will be UI changes. The logic will be the same, but for UI, that's a drawback. You'd have to actually customize your UI.
Okay, so it means you would have your the UI for Android and also the UI for iOS.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, wait, I still have some clarification as to that. Are you saying when you're doing your UI, you will be writing basically, so you have to do, let's say, let me just pick a basic example, a login page. Are you saying you'll be writing two different?
No, okay, here's the thing. You'd actually develop your application using a language called that. Okay. And then when you want to modify, you'd have to customize your Android application, the UI itself. Then you'd now switch from your IDE, probably for me, I use Visual Studio Code. I now switch for Android from my Visual Studio Code to Android Studio to actually align my elements properly. Okay, and then for iOS, I now switch from VS Code to Xcode.
Okay.
And
okay. I also have one question, but I think what you just said now might answer it a bit, because I'm used to doing drag and drops. Like Android has this nice intuitive design where you can drag and drop stuff and align them and constrain them as needed. But now you're saying for Flutter, for you to do design, you need to go back to Android Studio or Xcode to do that, right?
No, because he's using VS Code. If you're using Android Studio, you might not do that.
Okay. So you can use Android Studio and actually do Flutter.
Yes.
From start to finish.
Yes.
Okay.
You also need to install the S code.
Okay, what of the UI now? Like the Android development has drag and drop. If you drag and drop, will it work the same way for Flutter?
No, okay. So there is something we also need to note. Your base code is the same UI, but then, for example, I'll give you an instance. If you notice alert on iOS is not with alert on Android, and you want the person that is using that have iOS to experience the same alert, right? So you make modification for alerts. For iOS, you are using this alert, this proportional alert for iOS, and for Android, you are using this alerts. So that's like is a condition you are placing for it to map the alert you are using for each of them. So is this little change because you want that experience? Somebody that is in iOS to have the same iOS experience. So if you check iOS app bar too, over a little bit different when it centers it and a little bit different when you are on an Android app bar. So it's all this little difference you need to take note of. But yeah, basically the base code will be the same. So like he said before, if VS Code, if you're using VS Code, you need to you still need Android Studio for Android app, and VS Code already have you install S Code on it, so it's stored out for iOS. But if you're using Android Studio, you also install VS Code so that it will handle the part of iOS. So if this helps too.
Yeah, it helps.
So
okay,
go ahead.
For example, now design view for Android Studio. As you're dragging it, it's generating XMLs. It's putting the relative layouts, linear layouts, all the layouts that you have. So, but you can actually write it. You can actually write the code instead of using drag and drop. So I wanted to know was the one for Flutter. Is it that Flutter will use the same relative layout, constraint layouts that Android?
Okay, so there's no drag and drop per se, but then it's very easy and straightforward. Their documentation is one of the best documentation that I've ever seen. Any widget you want to use today, all you need to just type the name and you see different examples, like examples that will even solve the problem before. Let me just pick.
Okay. All right.
I dropped a listen on the chat.
Okay. The WhatsApp group,
Okay.
right?
No, this
Chat.
Zoom.
Okay, the Zoom channel.
I can also drop it on WhatsApp too. So
Drop
this
it
is
on
just
WhatsApp.
the sample of widget, expand widgets.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
So it's pretty straightforward how to use it, everything, video on it. Like nothing is you even prefer to learn it as in to know it so that you modify it. And it's like he said before, it's an open source. You can edit it, make it the way you want, modify it. Like even if it's a button, modify, go to the raw material button, pick it, see what the sample code they did. That's the difference when it comes to other ones, because you won't be able to see the exact code that they use for it. But this one, you can just pick it, modify it, and make it the way you want it.
Okay. Thank you. Cool.
So I also have another question. So it doesn't mean you would change for every element that you, let's say you have button, you have text box and all that you need to do some changes in the design of these elements for these different platforms. Is that what it means? So you would have one design for iOS, one separate design for Android. Every element would change for each of these platforms that you're developing on. Is that how it goes?
You're writing one code. One code.
Not the server side. The UI, UX.
The UI
that's
part
the UI.
is still one.
Okay,
it's
the UI
one.
part is. Oh.
Yes. So it's, for example, I always use this alert to make, because alert on iOS is different. You don't want somebody in that using Android to getting that kind of alert. So you put different and put the condition. When is iOS, you use this. When is Android, you use this. But then the UI part is the same.
Oh, okay.
The folder for Android, it will generate code for the Android and also generate code for iOS for you. So you are seeing both of them at the same time. So if you are writing the Flutter and that stuff, is compiling it to what Android will use and what iOS will use.
Oh, okay.
It makes sense.
Okay, so does Flutter have any backend attached, or is just for UI?
Flutter has that. That is the backend.
So you can actually build with that on the back end and then build your Flutter on the front end, and your whole app is running on that.
So you can combine the two, but say there is room for you to combine the two. So it's not like you are doing it separately and you also consume your APIs the way you want it.
Okay, that's cool. Wow, that's cool.
Okay. Are there more questions? So sorry, Sanko has issues with his light. So that's why he went off. Please go ahead. Someone wanted to ask a question.
Dari.
Okay, please go.
Yeah, sorry. Back to that last question. I didn't quite get it, so I just want some clarification as to the backend. So are you saying you can develop a backend with that and then consume from with your Flutter? Is that what you said?
Okay, so when you're developing, the backend you're referring to, is it an API? I think we need to say, or the logical part of it.
Okay,
so
no, definitely I know that you be
Flutter is basically the UI part, what you see in the end. But then there are some logics you write with that language. That's the back end of Flutter.
Okay, no, I'm talking about the
develop an API with that. Is that what you're asking with Flutter?
Yes. No, not with Flutter. I know Flutter is a framework, right? Okay. I'm saying that as a language. I mean, does it provide the capability for developing APIs. I've not really read. I know a bit, but I've not really read much about it. So I'm just trying to know. So does it have that capability like you would normally do with C# and .NET Core, or is it just primarily for Flutter alone?
Okay, so I have not tried it actually, but then I always use .NET to do my API. Then I'll do, or I believe it will. I always use .NET to do most of my APIs. Then I consume it with Flutter and that. But then I believe it will still be able to do it. You can also check it online to do that.
Okay.
But most of my APIs I do with .NET and nothing else.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So are there more questions? Okay, so I want to appreciate all of us for joining today's session. Thank you so much, Chijioke. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sanko. He's already off. So I would be uploading the file to the channel so we can, people who weren't able to watch can as well listen to it and gain some. We can decide, we can also share the link to other friends, other techie guys, so that they can join and then learn from, we learn from ourselves. So thank you so much. I really appreciate. So next week we'll be having another session. Next week we'll be having someone handling agile methodology for us. Or more details will be shared before, but the topic will be around agile methodology and how it will help us achieve our project project deliveries on time. So hopefully next week, same time, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., we'll be having another session. Thank you, everyone, and let's have a lovely week and lovely day ahead.
All right, you too. Good one, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Sunday.
Wow,
All right.
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I enjoyed this.
Thank you.
Thank you.